Velete, thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. The intense fighting centered around the strategic town of Anafis has now crossed the 24-hour mark, making it as the strongest and the most severe engagement of the current campaign. While initial reports show attackers pushing deep into the settlement, a powerful counter-offensive by the Malian armed forces, operating close coordination with the Russian African Corps, has successfully turned the momentum. The attacking coalition comprising FLA and Jenin has been pushed out to their newly claimed urban strongholds and forced back to the outer edges of the town. This counter-offensive represents a massive shift in how the state of Mali responds to major security threats in the north. In previous campaigns, such as the engagement seen in April, intense pressure on northern positions often led to negotiated withdrawals or tactical retreat by state forces. The current defense of Anafis demonstrates a completely different doctrine. Instead of pushing back, Bamako has chosen to dig in and aggressively reinforce its positions. A massive military column consisting of fresh Malian troops, heavy equipment, and African Corps reinforcement is currently moving directly toward Anafis. This logistical push sends a clear message that the state has no intention of abandoning the town and is fully committed to maintaining its territorial presence in the region. Inside Anafis, Malian forces have fully consolidated their defensive lines. This means their positions have been systematically organized, structurally strengthened, and interconnected to prevent any further enemy penetration. The temporary gains celebrated by the FLA and Jenin on social media, where fighters filmed themselves driving through the streets to create a viral narrative of state collapse, have been completely reversed. The urban center is stable and the remaining coalition forces have been scattered into the surrounding bush and desert outskirts. This scattering is highly significant because the retreating fighters are no longer masked or grouped together to launch a coherent ambush. They are divided and retreating under heavy pressure. The political stakes of this battle have been raised to an absolute maximum by attackers themselves. The FLA recently issued a formal statement declaring the fight for Anafis as a choice because total victory or being completely vanquished. By using this extreme language, the coalition has eliminated its own exit plan or face-saving narrative. They have tied their entire instrumental credibility to the capture of this specific town. Consequently, a failure to take Anafis cannot be explained anyway as a minor tactical retreat. It will stand as a definitive defeat that breaks their operational momentum. The material and human cost of this battle for the FLA and G9 coalition is proving to be exceptionally high. Field reports indicate that a large number of coalition fighters have been permanently neutralized along the line of contact.
When it's good, it's good. There is very, very good news in Mali. We have just canceled the neutralization of another great terrorist leader called Mohammed Akili, yes. This is the information that is and that ends for the terrorists. Ha ha! Several Trotro leaders have been sent to hell. During these last 2 days at the Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, several terrorist leaders have been sent to hell. Look, we are told here that the 4 I have 2026. Mubarak Agakeli claimed to be chief, Chef de cabinet, the vice president of the Azawad Liberation Front, was sent to hell, to LA following the confrontation in the Anafis region. Several terrorist leaders have been sent to hell during these last 2 days in Burkina Faso, from Mali and Niger to Mali. Only there are 2 great terrorist leaders, the greatest terrorist leaders of close terrorists, even of Yak Agali, who were sent to hell. There is Mohammed Zaza Mubarak Ak Kelly, who were sent to hell, and several terrorist leaders. Amen. Those who are in the head, there is Mubarak Ak Kelly and Abderrahman Zaza CE are the relatives of Yahya Aghili. They were sent to hell, and operations are currently continuing. All terrorist leaders who plan these attacks there at the level of LAYS, they will all be sent to hell. There will not be all terrorists. There will not be a go-ahead. The operations continue.
Beyond the loss of personnel, the coalition's logistical backbone has suffered devastating blows. Multiple supply vehicles carrying ammunition and several trucks mounted with heavy weaponry have been completely destroyed by state forces. In a harsh desert environment, logistics determines survival. A fighter without an active ammunition resupply is stripped of all combat utility, left stranded in remote territory with an empty weapon. The desperation within the coalition ranks is further exposed by recent radio broadcasts and communications on intercept. Jenim operatives have been documented making urgent public appeals for their scattered and retreating fighters to regroup and rejoin the battle for Anafis. Military analysis shows that an organized, confident force does not broadcast open pleas for its personnel to reform. Such communications are only deployed when a force has been broken into fragmented packets and is losing tactical cohesion. In addition to heavy losses among foot soldiers, the coalition has reportedly lost irreplaceable leadership. Reports from the field indicate that two of the highest-ranking commanders within the FLA Jenim alliance were neutralized during the heavy fighting on 4th July. The first major figure identified is Barak Ghali, who serves as the first deputy head and the chief of staff of the FLA. As the primary military brain responsible for planning operations and coordinating troop movement across the region, his loss strips the FLA of its core tactical planner. The second high-ranking casualty is Abdurrahman Zaza, also known as Abdurrahman Algi. Zaza was a veteran member of GNI and a long-term confidant and right-handed man to Eid Aghali. Among these, Anafis is a crucial strategic anchor. It sits roughly 100 kilometers south of Kidal city, positioned directly on the primary highway axis that any conventional military force must use to march toward Kidal. Both sides are fully aware that if a large-scale government operation to recover Kidal is ever launched, it will begin from the military installations at Anafis. This is why the state built a heavily fortified defensive fortress around the main military base located to the west of the town. The FLA and GNI directed their absolute maximum effort at this single point because they know that if they can force the state out of Anafis, the road to Kidal closes foreseeable future. Conversely, as long as government forces hold Anafis, the threat of a state march on Kidal remains active, forcing every insurgent fighter in the region to remain on high alert. Recognizing the immense strength of the fortified base, the attackers completely avoided a direct assault on the main military installation during their July 4th ambush. Instead, they bypassed the heavy defenses to enter the civilian streets, prioritizing quick media victories over genuine military objectives. They caused widespread disruption and took photos to project an illusion of control. But the actual military center of gravity, the fortified base, never changed hands and remains fully operational under state control. Meanwhile, the situation in Aguho, the second state-held stronghold in the far north, remained highly stable and securely contained. The defensive line there were organized with significant depth, preventing the attackers from achieving even a temporary breakthrough into the settlement. The successful defense of Aguhok was heavily aided by the deployment of first-person view strike drones, commonly known as FPV drones. These systems were used to strike enemy personnel long before they could even get close to the government trenches. Furthermore, the operational integration between Mali and its partners was clearly demonstrated during the Argo Hawk engagement, as Russian helicopter crews successfully flew directly into contested zones to conduct emergency medical evacuations of wounded Malian soldiers, proving that the alliance functions effectively under live fire. The extensive use of FPV drones across both Anafis and Argo Hawk marks a fundamental evolution in Sahalian warfare. In traditional desert conflicts, irregular forces hold a major advantage through rapid mobility by using fast pickup trucks and agile motorbikes. They can mass quickly, launch a surprise ambush, and scatter back into the desert before conventional forces can react. FPV strike drones completely neutralize this mobility advantage. The vehicle moving across the open desert landscape can be spotted and struck within minutes. Packets of fighters attempting to gather for a coordinated assault can be systematically broken up before they even reach their objective. For now, the situation is under control, according to our leaders. We'll keep monitoring the situation and wait for more updates, because as at now, according to our leaders in the front line, the situation is under control. And whatever it might be, homeland or death, we must overcome. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall. And united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we'll make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world in Africa, West Africa, and in Mali.